People of YouTube, Guy Gash here again today. And before I start my video, I just want you to take a deep, long breath with me. So 3, 2, 1. And now you're on the same level as me. So today we're going to be talking about 7 signs of you being an empath. Are you an empath? Watch this video and find out. So my first point that I've written down them in points, and then I'll explain from the points. You can feel other people's emotions and energy. So if you are an empath, the first thing, empathy. You have empathy towards others, but what being an empath means is you may feel somebody's energy, somebody's emotions. Somebody may tell you a really depressing story. Somebody may tell you about things they hate or what they don't like. And you can feel that. You can feel what's going on inside them. You're almost that person. And sometimes it's hard to deal with. Sometimes you feel like you have to escape from negativity, and negativity can be overwhelming to you. And if you are experiencing these things, maybe you are an empath and you should try and consider looking into what ways you can do to prevent things from contaminating your energy and disturbing your inner world. So my next point, you're sensitive. So relating to my first point, but sensitivity. You are a very sensitive person in the sense of you feel things more deeper. If you're sad, you're really sad. If you're happy, you're really happy. Often, and I'm talking from my experience and other people I know who experience similar things to being an empath, you will feel an energy of a room before you walk into it. So before you walk into a room, you get a sense of something, and then you go into the room, and then whatever that sense is or was is there. An argument, a disagreement, tension, atmosphere, animosity. You felt that before it came into the room. Before you came into the room, you felt that before you entered. You may see an upsetting Facebook post, you may see another social media post or any kind of post, and it may really upset you. And these things, we get called sensitive, and oh, you're a sensitive person, but that's not a weakness. That's actually a strength and a good trait, because to be sensitive means you are really sensitive to life, and you're sensitive towards pain, and you're open towards things, and yeah, you do experience things a lot deeper, but it's because you're more in touch and connected with life. My next point, people come to you with problems. So you may find yourself, if you are an empath, if you're questioning if you're an empath by already watching this video, you may find that people do come to you with problems, and you will find yourself in the weird place. Like, for example, I've been in situations where somebody just starts opening up about something, and it can be random people in the shops and stuff like that, and they'll open up and release a bit of an emotion towards you. And what you may realise is, and I've discovered this as well, and I'm not classing myself as an empath, I'm just saying the points I've made I can relate to, so that's why I've been able to make them. I find that I can talk to somebody and they talk to me back in a certain way. I can have a certain type of conversation with people, and then when I hear that person talking to somebody else, it's a different topic of conversation completely. I find that people talking to you, if you are an empath, will go in a lot more depth. They'll explain themselves a bit more. They'll open up and not be shy to open up to you. And you may be sat there thinking, why do people talk to me that way? Why do people open up to me so much? And maybe it is because you're an empath. Empaths carry a certain energy. It's warm, it's nurturing, it's open, welcoming. So people are drawn to that. People are more drawn to that, and they feel like they can open up themselves and they can be warm and welcoming. My next point, you dislike overcrowding and too many things at once. So overcrowding, I know my personal experience, I don't like overcrowding. It's too many energies, there's too many people. Over time I've learnt to control my emotions and control my thoughts and gather myself and focus on a direction and take my attention there. But as an empath, you may find yourself in certain train stations, shopping centres, in the middle of town, traffic jams, overcrowding. Overcrowding makes you feel overwhelmed and you're a bit in panic mode, and you can't put a finger on why that's happening. You can't think of why that's happening. Maybe consider that you might be a bit of an empath. So, also, too many things at once. You've got too many things going on at work. There's too many things coming onto your desk. There's too many things. You've been asked to do too much and it's getting too much for you. You like to focus on one thing at a time and get things done in a methodical way. Point number 5. Difficulty relating to callous or selfish people. So, somebody who comes across as selfish, who's very self-indulgent, or callous or mean, you can't relate to them. And you really have difficulty struggling to relate to these people. I know from talking to close people in my close friendship and stuff, and they'll explain something and they'll say, you know, I don't know how somebody could be like that, or if I was doing that, that wouldn't happen with me, or, you know, I wouldn't treat somebody that way. So you have difficulty relating to selfish and callous people because that's the opposite of you. You're wanting to help. You're wanting to provide. You're wanting to have a loving environment around you. You're wanting a nice, peaceful energy around you. And selfish people carry a certain energy around them. And back to my very first point, you feel people's emotions and energy. So when a selfish person who carries quite a bit of negativity, or a callous, mean person who carries a lot of negativity, you want to push them away. You want to get away from them people. Point number 6, you get bored easily. I find talking to people who are believed to be empaths or have empath qualities, they do talk about boredom and they get bored easily and they struggle to find things to do. So backing up that point, stimulate creativity. As an empath, if you're considering yourself as an empath, and this isn't something that you work towards and you become, it's just something you kind of naturally are. And if this video opens up some ideas in your mind and you think, actually, this kind of sounds like me, or I can identify with this a little bit or relate to this, consider what I'm saying. Stimulate your creativity. Make yourself active. Make yourself use your mind. Empaths have a beautiful, colourful mind. They are so creative, drawing, writing, imaginative, you know, all these qualities are there, but what happens is we get bored in a sense of we're just doing things in a routine-like cycle. But breaking the cycle, get a pen and paper. If you're considering yourself as this, even if you aren't, get a pen and paper and write what's going on in your mind today. Write a page that big, write it. Write what's going on in your mind and you'll be surprised what you find out about yourself and what's going on up in there and what's going on in here and how you feel. So my last point, if you're considering yourself as an empath, my last point is animals replenish you. And that means animals replenish your energy. You feel empathy towards animals. And because animals don't carry language, usually animals aren't selfish or they're not consciously selfish. They're living in the present. They're living at their biorhythm. They replenish your energy. And I know of experience talking to different people and myself. Dogs, I've got a pet bearded dragon, but they replenish you. You come into their company and the way they look at you and they fill you back up again and they fill you with joy and flourish you a little bit. And yeah, you're a lot more open to animals. And I'm not saying you're veggie or all like that. I'm just saying as a connection goes, as a physical touch or, you know, playing with the ball or whatever, it replenishes your energy and you feel a bit more fulfilled after being in contact or being like stroking an animal or something like that. You will feel more replenished is what I'm saying. So there are 7 signs, and if you're considering yourself to be an empath, review them 7 signs. Consider if you feel like you can relate to these things. One thing with being an empath is people that can be naturally an empath. I believe. This is what I believe. I think people can naturally be an empath, but also people become an empath in a sense of once they flourish themselves as an individual, they kind of become an empath because they've kind of self-accepted and self-realised who they are, and then the energy it carries out. it carries out and it unfolds. So if you're considering this, if you're understanding this and this is making sense to you, go away and experience yourself and experience your qualities. Don't think yourself as a sensitive person. Don't wonder why you are the way you are, and connect with yourself more and form a stronger relationship with yourself more, because you will have a gift. And that gift is very important to what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of selfish, a lot of competitiveness, and the world as it is today need people like you. As I always say on this channel, peace and love to anybody watching this, and I hope you're an empath.